On today's show, the Dallas Mavericks get their 6th win in a row. Luka and Kyrie just go off against the Spurs. What does we see with Dereck Lively back and Daniel Gafford playing at the same time? We'll talk about that and more on today's Locked on Mavs.
Doncic, and this is Locked on Mavericks.
Mavericks, NBA champions. Bang! It's good, and the Mavericks have won the game.
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
Loyalty never fades away.
And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and NBA channel manager for the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for being part of the show, making Locked On Mavs your first listen today. With the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen every day, leave a 5-star review, like the video, and comment anything below on YouTube. Let us know in the comment section what's one thing you saw from the game or the 6-game win streak. I'm curious what you guys have to say about that. Joining me, as always, on a post-game, feeling good in the neighborhood. What you got for me, slightly biased?
Are we having fun yet? Yeah.
We are. We're having fun. 6-game win streak. We'll talk about the Mavs win against the Spurs. Just a great night. Started off rough. I was worried there for a minute. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. I was actually feeling okay because it's the last game before the All-Star break. It's pretty easy to get caught slipping. I put a little wager down on the Spurs.
On FanDuel only, right?
No comment.
Wow.
Sure.
Mavs get the win 118-85. The Mavs went on a 45-10 run in the middle of this game from the midway through the second quarter through the almost 4-minute mark of the third quarter. They went on a 45-10 run. Just a crazy turnaround in this one.
Yeah.
Let's start with, what do you think happened? What do you think changed to make this big turnaround from the first quarter where the Mavs looked like they were playing awful, looked like unserious basketball, to that big run?
Wemby checked out the game.
Correct?
And Lively came in. I mean, Lively had the best plus minus on the team with like a crazy, trying to figure out what it is, plus 27 in 17 minutes. So Lively came into the game. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy in that short amount of time. And really just kind of changed. I think this matchup better suits him, even though he really didn't share the floor that much with Wemby. But that stretch in the second quarter when he did share the floor with Wemby, he did a great job, I thought. That mobility and his ability to just move around, I think, is better suited for a matchup like this versus Big Gaff.
Lively coming back is his first game back in 7 he missed with a broken nose. He had the face mask. He was looking like Bane out there, looking like Zorro. He was killing it out there. He's just impactful. And it feels like every time he's out for these little stretches, the game with the ankle, the couple games here and there, I'm like, have we been overrating Lively? Have we been overstating how much he impacts the game? And then you see him again and you're like, nope, not at all. I'm not overstating this at all, because he is so impactful. The way that he can command the paint, the way that he alters shots, the way that he can grab a rebound. And I think it's just his size against Wemby. He only had that one stretch. I think it was in the third quarter or the end of the second, or there's not often that he played and faced him, but I thought he did a good job against Wembanyama. And Wembanyama killed the Mavericks in that first quarter. We'll talk about that and their struggles there. But yeah, he was a big factor in this. His ability to just run the floor. That play that is coming back to me where Luka got, they got to stop. Luka got the ball, outletted to Kyrie, and Kyrie threw it up to Lively. Oh, just like a euphoric moment where you just see it all kind of work together. The defense is starting to pick up. And honestly, the Lively PJ Washington front court, it's pretty good defensively.
Yeah.
You could do worse than that for sure. And they have for years.
Oh, yeah. They've done worse than it. Probably about 99.9% of the franchise's history. So it is pretty fun to watch. And I'm happy you said about PJ, because I think it's really easy to poo-poo his performance with three points and one of 3 from 3. Sorry, 1 of 6 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3. Still, that 3 ball hasn't really dropped yet. And listen, here's the thing. I try to warn people before. He's not a very consistent shooter. So this is what you're going to get, I think, despite the fact that he's going to get great looks. You're going to get some inconsistency out of him.
Yeah.
But he was really good defensively tonight, man.
Yeah.
Like really legitimately good. Like eye-poppingly good. And it's rare that the Mavericks have performances like that from players where you're like, wow, like you don't need to know a lot about basketball to watch the game and think, wow, PJ Washington is playing some legit defense right now.
Yeah, you talked about Lively kind of having a good moment against Victor Wembanyama. I thought PJ had the best plays against him, just fronting him, trying to keep the ball, keeping him in front of him and not letting him get by him. All the rip through moves, and PJ just stood his ground and stayed firm. He's defended a lot of different guys, and the Mavericks have played 3 games with him. He's guarded SGA, Jalen Williams, Kuzma, I guess Jordan Poole or whoever, Denny. He guarded Denny, Victor Wembanyama. He's guarded a bunch of different guys already. The versatility is already on display with PJ. His numbers are not going to be there. He's a glue guy. He's Sean Marion from the title run. He's not always going to have the eye-popping numbers, and every once in a while he will. Every once in a while he'll have a game where he hits 7 threes, or something like that. It's not going to happen often, but when he does, it's going to be found money, and the Mavericks are going to really feast off of that.
Exactly. I thought there was a little too much overreaction to some of the PJ Washington stuff. Maybe they could have done a better job getting him involved, just getting him some touches early in the game. And I
thought the third quarter they really tried to give him some post touches.
I was just about to say that was clearly something that they thought going into halftime, because the third quarter it was a point of emphasis. It felt like to just, even if he's not getting a shot, just let him touch the ball, and we can run whatever we want to run out off of that. But just like you said, man, He's not gonna light it up on the score sheet. They don't need him to. They didn't trade for him to do that. It's an added benefit, and just play defense. Everything else will be fine. Play defense, and if a game happens where, and you know what? Here's the reality, right? If Luka and Kyrie are healthy, and we need PJ Washington's offense, something has gone wrong. That's probably the case. If the Mavs are fully healthy, and it's all right, PJ, we need you to score 25 tonight, something has gone wrong. And it's not all on PJ Washington, but tonight they didn't even need it. Would have been nice to have. It would have been cool, but
they didn't need him to score. So they got the defense from there, but this run was really sparked by Luka and Kyrie. I mean, they have their chemistry. You're starting to see it more and more. They have a play. They've done 3 or 4 times a game the last couple of games here since Kyrie's been back, where they start close together on the perimeter. I don't know what to call this yet. I'm leaning towards the Lukai split, or something like that, where they're close together, so each of their defenders are in front of them, and then one will hand the ball to the other, and they'll be over here, and then the one defender will hedge or inch towards the guy with the ball, and then the guy with the ball will throw it back to the other guy, and then the defenders will kind of go over here and inch towards the other guy with the ball, and they'll just keep slowly drifting apart on the 3-point line, passing the ball back and forth, letting the defenders decide, and eventually when they commit to one of the guys, the other one is wide open on the 3-point line, and they've hit a bunch of threes off of that. It's just one of those plays that only 2 insane basketball minds can kind of do, because you have to time it exactly right, and it can't be it has to be in a certain flow. You can't pass into the trap. You can't get stuck in a trap. You can't really even pick up your dribble. You gotta just know the timing and the rhythm of it, and it's a really great play that I just want to see more and more.
Yeah, I'm thinking of one specifically. Trey Jones was switched on to Luka. Luka started backing him down. Kyrie passed it to him from the top of the key. Sohan was on Kyrie. Luka just turns around to post up Trey Jones. Sohan's oh shit, sorry. Oh, sorry. Sorry, WFA. Sorry, guys. Sorry, FanDuel and whatever other ads we're going to read on here. Luka passes the ball.
That's twice you've had to apologize to FanDuel today.
My bad, FanDuel. Kyrie passed it to Luka. Luka starts posting him up. Sohan's oh God, I should probably help a little tiny bit. And it just takes one. And Luka's patient enough where he's just going to sit there and back down and just wait. And once Sohan committed a tiny bit, right to Kyrie. And it was a deep 3, but he drained it. And they run that play 3 or 4 times a game, and it leads to at least 3 wide open Kyrie threes a game.
We've seen that now that they're getting stops. We talked about the defense with Lively and PJ, and Gafford helps the defense absolutely. Now that they're getting stops, you're seeing them get out in transition, kick out in transition, and Luka and Kyrie are keeping their head up and looking ahead. All the drilling at the beginning of the season, trying to make them play faster, is working now that they're actually getting stops. Because in the middle of the season, they couldn't get any stops, and so there's no point in trying to kick ahead if you're not getting any stops at all. And so it's kind of all coming together in certain ways. If the Mavericks, play like they did in the second and third quarter, and not like they did in the first quarter.
Yeah, well, can I that's a good point. And it feels like they're almost oh God, we're actually getting stops. We can play in transition, because the first half of the Wizards game, or I guess the first 3 quarters of this Wizards game, and the first quarter of this game against the Spurs, I just kept feeling man, you guys you slow the game down a tiny bit. I thought they were just playing way too fast, and it led to a lot of turnovers. They've been bit by the turnover bug a little bit. over the past couple of games. I mean, they only finished the game with 13 actually in this one, which is perfectly fine, but they had 5 in the first quarter.
I was going to say, they had 9 through like the first 15 minutes of the game.
Yeah. It just felt like they were playing way too fast. And it's just, you guys are great when it's slow. And playing fast is nice to do. But it's not like something you don't have to stoop down to the Spurs and Wizards where the only way they can beat you is just speed you up and make you turn the ball over a bunch. And then that's how they score and win games. So I think that's something they should work on. And they did much better towards the end of this game.
Coming up, let's talk about how Kyrie Irving impacted this game. He had a play that just astonished me. Absolutely insane. He does at least one a game, but this one took the cake. What do we see from him? Is he being more aggressive on purpose? We'll talk about that and more coming up. Today's episode is brought to you by Robinhood. Did you know that even if you have a 401k account for retirement, you can still have an IRA? Robinhood has the only IRA that gives you a 3% boost on every dollar you contribute when you subscribe to Robinhood Gold. But get this now through April 30th, Robinhood is even boosting every single dollar you transfer from other retirement accounts with a 3% match. That's right. No cap on the 3% match at Robinhood. Robinhood Gold gets you the most for your retirement thanks to their IRA with a 3% match. This offer is good through April 30th. You got to get on it. Get started at robinhood.com/boost. Subscription fees apply. And now for some legal info. Claim as of Q1 2024, validated by Radius Global Market Research. Investing involves risk, including loss. Limitations apply to IRA and 401ks. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold for 1 year from the date of the first 3% match. Must keep Robinhood IRA for 5 years, and 3% matching on transfers is subject to specific terms and conditions. Robinhood IRA available to U.S. customers in good standing. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC is a registered broker-dealer. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad, listening every day. Appreciate each and every one of you for sticking with us throughout this whole stretch. Man, it has been a great little run here. We have the Locked On Sports Dallas YouTube channel that's doing 24/7 streams, all Dallas shows, so go check it out on YouTube or Amazon Fire, Locked On Sports Dallas channel. All right, Slightly. Kyrie, just really great in this game. One of his best, most efficient games he's had. 34 points in under 33 minutes. 34 points on 22 shots, too, which is efficient. 7 assists as well. He called his number a couple times, it felt like, but they need him to. They absolutely need him to. But he also just played within the flow of the game. He took a bunch of shots that he got wide open. If he kind of caught the ball and found himself open, he just put it up. And you're like, that's what you're supposed to do. That's exactly what we need him to do. Feels like he's back in the rhythm of, all right, we need you to be a little aggressive and also still kind of get others involved. And I felt like he really balanced that really well tonight. Yeah,
this might have been it's in the moment, but this might have been my favorite Kyrie game, or one of them at least. It's up there. I know it's not statistically his best, and he's hard carried the Mavericks to wins, but this was just this felt like everything you were wanting to see from the Luka and Kyrie pairing, and Kyrie being that secondary start. And in games like these, it's 1A, 1B. It's not even really all right, Luka's doing everything. It's oh, well, you have Luka and Kyrie, both of them are just tearing you apart. And it's not one is spoon feeding the other. They're just both going at you relentlessly. And Kyrie did everything tonight, genuinely played good defense, 7 assists, got the offense going when they weren't going.
He had 3 strips on Wembanyama.
Yeah. He's got great hands on defense, man.
Very good.
Great hands. It's something like these great offensive players. It feels like they always, Jokic is like this, Dirk was like that, Luka's like this, where their hands are really good. So even if their defense might not be the best, they'll get some strips here and there.
It's like hand-eye coordination.
Yeah.
It's got to be. It's like hand-eye coordination and IQ. If you got that, you can at least play defense if you're in the right spot.
You could easily average a steal a game if you're smart.
Physically, you have to get there. You have to get there first.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Kyrie was amazing. He had a play where he's one-on-one with Wembanyama. There's no one else down the court yet. It's in transition. One-on-one against Wembanyama. He's in Kyrie's in the left corner. Wembanyama's between him and the basket. He goes baseline, comes back around, contorts his body in a star shape, it felt like, and then puts the ball up in just the worst, weirdest rhythm that if you or I tried this, actually not you, but if I tried this, I fall down on my butt. I fall down on my butt and the ball doesn't even leave my hand. It just falls. I just fall down. And he made it in and caught Wembanyama off guard. It was just one of those plays where you go, Oh yeah, he's completely different, and the rhythm of how he plays is just completely different. It's like he's playing in 6'8", and everybody else is in 3'4" sometimes.
Yeah, he 6'8", 3'4". What's that?
It's a music analogy.
Okay.
3'4" is like, or 4'4" is like.
You were in the band?
Yeah.
I played
6'8" is like a waltz. 4'4" is like all the pop songs you've ever heard in your life.
I played trumpet for a year because I had to.
I did in 7th grade as well.
But that was it for me. That was out. I was in and out, one and done.
I was first chair for like 2 weeks, and then everybody caught up.
We just messed around, and at the little rehearsals before, where you would blow into the trumpet without making noise, we would all just blow into it and make noise, and you would just hear a random like in dead silence. But no, anyways, yeah, Kyrie, that move on Wemby, that is like one of the best plays of the year, especially because it's against Wemby. And it's funny because I was thinking this during the game and watching Spurs games, because I have found myself watching a decent amount of Spurs games because Wemby's just absolutely nuts. It does feel like players, especially like the really talented players, see him and they're like, all right, I'm gonna try. Like, I want to see what this is all about. So that felt like that's what that was from Kyrie. Because like you said, I watched the play right now. It was literally a 1-on-5. Gafford was coming back into the play. PJ was just kind of trailing it, and he was like, you know what, I'm gonna go for it. And it was just an insane finish. And he has some floaters. Like, he was going at Wemby.
Yes.
He was not scared of Wemby at all, because he had that high arcing floater, that giant killer. And he has like floaters from the free throw line that are lefty. And it's just like the degree of difficulty of that, your offhand floaters, like high floaters from that distance, is just nuts. I mean, he's one of the most skilled players to ever do it. I mean, it's crazy to watch.
It's why you understand why every single player in the NBA like respects him, because they all could do the things that he can do, but can't. You know, it's like we're all like, all of us have the ability, because it's not size, it's not necessarily athleticism, it's about just the skill, almost just straight up with it. Yeah, he was absolutely amazing. Wembanyama, we got to talk about him because this is the first time we got to see him in the AAC. First quarter, I was a little worried. He had 12 points in like 4 minutes. He was on pace for 128 points in the game. It was I was a little nervous. Gafford was kind of struggling with him there, but the Mavs, fronted him with wings and decided to keep him out. I feel like the Spurs really hold him back, but they're doing it on purpose, right? Like they're trying to not play him too much. They play him 27 minutes, and you're like, if he had played more, maybe they get stay closer in this game, or at least stay connected. But yeah, he's just insane to watch. The fluidity of his dribble. He had some dribbles where he's going through the lane in traffic and keeps the ball on a string, and then his ability to just stop and pull up from three. It's insane to watch it in person.
Yeah, I would love to see that in person. But I've been, like I said, I've been watching some Spurs games lately, because he's just really, ever since he twisted his ankle at the American Airlines Center, when he came back from that, it's just been incredible to watch. Anytime I bring up on Twitter, there's always some insecurity, and some people are like, "Oh, we're not worried about him. We're not worried about him." I watch a lot of basketball. I'm very worried.
Like, I don't know, guys.
I'm pretty concerned, because he is something else, man. And his offensive game, just think about this. This is the worst it's ever going to look. Like, he's going to shoot better. His jump shot's going to become a little bit more refined. He's going to play next to guys who set him up better. This is the worst it's going to look.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And it's funny because, you look at a stat line for a rookie and you're like, oh my God, 26 points and 27 minutes, 9 rebounds.
Shouldn't we be talking about this more?
Yeah, but it's like, that's like, I thought the Mavs did a pretty good job, especially after the first quarter on him, making life hard. Shout out to PJ Washington.
They really did. His ability also to just finish stuff around the rim. He had a reverse floater where he went under the rim against Gafford, went under the rim, came out on the other side of the rim, and had to shoot it as a floater because he was so far away from the basket, because his steps are so far that he's couldn't reverse dunk it. He had to use a floater because the steps, man. Yeah. It's wild to watch him.
If he's healthy, I mean, the only thing stopping him is the Spurs. It's if they go into the summer and are like, you know what, let's be aggressive. Let's go out and get guys. They're going to be a problem quickly.
I was going to say, if I'm worried about Wembanyama, I'm not worried about the rest of the Spurs.
I'm not either.
I'm not worried about any of the rest of them, basically.
Sohan does some things from time to time.
Then he does some other things.
Vassell's disappointed me a little bit at times, but yeah, ultimately
He was supposed to be a lot better this season, but
they
we'll
got a
see.
full rebuild ahead of them.
Oh, for sure. Coming up, let's talk about Lively's return. Let's talk about Gafford and PJ a little bit more. Let's talk about Hardy. I think they've all had some good showings, and we'll see what else we want from this team for the rest of the season coming up. Today's episode is brought to you by Hungry Root. Hungry Root is the answer for if you're like, man, I just don't know what to eat anymore. I don't know what to make. I want to make food, but I also don't want to waste grocery. I buy these groceries and then I don't use them. Hungry Root is your partner in healthy living. It's the easiest way to get fresh, high-quality groceries and simple, healthy recipes delivered to your door. You take this quiz. They have all these different things where you say, all right, I need to be dairy-free or soy-free or peanut-free, shellfish-free, egg-free, all kinds of stuff that you can select on there. And they'll make sure that it's matched to your specificity. Take that short quiz. Hungry Root will know your personal health goals, what you like to eat, the kitchen appliances you have, all that kind of stuff, and then they'll build a personalized cart with all your grocery needs for the week and give you delicious recipe recommendations to put those groceries to good use. Everything from Hungry Root follows a simple standard. It's got to taste good, it's got to be quick to make, and contain whole, trusted ingredients. Right now, Hungry Root is offering Locked On NBA listeners 40% off your first delivery and free veggies for life. Go to hungryroot.com/lockedon to get 40% off your first delivery and get your free veggies. That's hungryroot.com/lockedon. Don't forget to use the link hungryroot.com/lockedon so that they know that we sent you. All right, Slightly, let's talk some more about got the return of Lively. Gafford started instead of him. Lively ended up, did he play more? I don't think he ended up playing more. Gafford played 23 minutes. Lively played 17 minutes. We got a Dwight Powell appearance in the middle of the game, which was very, very odd. What did you think about Kidd's decision to start Gafford and bring Lively off the bench?
I thought it made sense with a minute restriction. That's pretty much it. I know I thought it would have been interesting if, I don't know, how many minutes did Lively end up playing? 17? How many would he have played if it was a close game? Probably over 20 or so, if I had to guess. Thought that, especially after it was clear early on that Lively was the best chance against Wemby, maybe you just say, all right, we know Wemby's on a minute restriction himself, so maybe we just match Lively and Wemby's minutes and just do it that way. But I don't know. I don't really have a problem with it. I'm assuming Lively's going to start.
I am too. Yeah, I don't think this changes anything. If you came into this game and you said, whoa, wait, Gafford starting over Lively, I wouldn't take it that way. I would consider that Lively is going to start. He's on a minute restriction. It's one game. Now we're in the All-Star break. He's going to go do the Rising Stars. They don't want something to happen before he gets to have that weekend that's, he'll get to do it next year probably because he'll be a sophomore. But, this is the first time he'll get to do that, which is just a big deal to guys. And so I think they keep him on that minutes restriction, but he didn't look deterred at all with the mask. No. He wasn't like Luka with the mask where Luka just threw the mask off immediately as soon as he got it on his face. But Lively was finishing. He was, stop and play. I thought he was really good in this game. Gafford struggled with some fouls a little bit, but he had a couple plays. He had a post up against Wemby where he finished, and you just remember how strong he is.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said earlier, this is where the luxury comes in of having both of these guys. This isn't, Gafford's a little more slow-footed and Lively's a little better against a guy like Wemby who can move around a little bit. And just being able to alternate between those two when they're fully healthy and ready to go. And Gafford is ready to go against those big, bruising bigs that you're going to go up against in big series. Like, there's going to be guys like that. Nurkic plays like that. Jokic obviously plays like that. You got Gobert who plays like that. Yeah, Zubats plays like that even. And then you got Lively for these other teams who – are maybe a little bit smaller or whatever the case may be.
Sabonis. Gafford is going to be really helpful against Sabonis, I think.
Yeah, if the Kings are there. But that's a story for another day.
Oh.
I'm saying that they're beating the Nuggets right now.
They're falling out?
I'm just not impressed when I watch them. But I'm saying that they're about to get a win on the road against the Nuggets. So shout out to the Kings. But no, yeah, it's a great luxury to have.
Jaden Hardy also stood out to me in this game. You feel like his confidence is coming back. He's starting to attack. What do you have? He finished with 9 points? Not super impressive numbers on there, but this was a player that you were getting nothing from, it felt like, and he wasn't really contributing, wasn't really playing a lot at the beginning of the season with Exum and all that. And now, and obviously with Curry taking some of those minutes, and now you're like, okay, I'm starting to see it. You're starting to see the confidence in his shot. And there was a moment when Hardy missed a shot, or Hardy hit a shot, like a little just pull up. He's got that little pull up mid range too that it just looks automatic. It feels like a 90s shot when he takes it. It just feels like one of those. And Hardy turns around, he starts running back the other way, and Kyrie's looking at him like, come on. Like, let's go. And he's doing like the keep going motion with his finger, and he's just like encouraging him. And what that means to Hardy probably, to have Kyrie in his ear just encouraging him to keep going. I've liked what I've seen from Hardy the last couple of games.
Yeah, Hardy's playing really well. I do like that Kyrie's taking him under his wing because Kyrie probably sees this. All right, here's this smaller, skilled guard who. I mean, let's be real. If you're a small, skilled guard coming up, who's the player that you look up to and you're like, man,
Curry.
Well, and Kyrie Irving.
Donovan Mitchell, Trae Young.
You don't hear a lot of people say, man, I love Trae Young. Well, I guess Trae Young's still young.
Not even the players. They voted him 6th in All-Star.
True. Something's going on there. Trae, I'm a big believer in you. And when you're on the Spurs next year, it's going to be a nightmare. Okay? But
if that happens, that would be
I'm willing to lock that in stone. I think that happens for sure.
What? A Trae Young Wemby pick and roll would just break my brain, I think, just because of how tall and short
difference.
They are. Like, just
you will literally lose Trae Young.
That's almost a Muggsy Bogues Manute Bowl, like pick and roll.
Yeah, you're genuinely going to lose him. You're gonna be like, wait, I actually don't see Trae Young.
I also lost Wemby because he's in the clouds.
Yeah, I'm telling you guys right now. Remember this when it happens. But no, Jane Hardy, and I'm kind of watching. It feels like Tim's leash has been a little shorter the last couple of games.
Definitely been.
And I'm wondering if maybe there's a pathway that I didn't really think existed during the season. In the summer, we all kind of talked about it. But then the early parts of the season, it looked like that dream had kind of gone away.
There was no chance.
Yeah, but now it's starting to look like, Hardy, and it's within the flow of the offense too. Like he had a really nice play where he's in the corner. Could have easily shot the 3. But he knew Wemby was coming, and Wemby jumped, and the contest was just wild. But it was just the patience, and then finishing through the contact, that absorbing the contact and hanging on in the air. He's done a couple of those.
Yes,
like over the last couple of weeks.
That dribbling, like finishing around the rim and getting to the rim, is something that he does that Tim just doesn't do as well.
Yeah,
and like that's the difference. Tim gets hotter than Jaden Hardy does, and has, how can I put this?
Microwave scoring ability,
less shame than Hardy does. So he'll take more shots, which sometimes you just need. Sometimes you need some guys to just be fearless and take some shots. Hardy will take shots, but not like Tim does. Though, and they'll make the same kind of mistakes, but Hardy is 21 and Tim is a veteran. So when Tim makes those mistakes where Luka passes him the ball and he just drops it at his feet and it just rolls away, and you're just like, what are we doing? Or if oh my gosh, the play where Tim is in transition, driving, I think it was a Devin Vassell or Tyus Jones, or not Tyus Jones, Trey Jones, where he's like, it's him and the basket, and then Trey Jones is catching up to him, and he just tries a little crossover, but then Trey Jones just takes the ball away. Not even a foul, nothing, and just the ball is all of a sudden going the other way again. You go, man, like you just can't have those plays, especially from a veteran type guy. And that's why when you're talking about Tim's leash, it's not even just about the shots always. It's about some of the defensive things. It's about the turnovers and those kind of issues. And like, I'm kind of with you. I'm curious what they're going to do with those minutes going forward.
Yeah, I mean, when guys are injured, you need Shea, or not Shea. Sorry, I'm just saying Shea because I'm looking at
because that's your favorite player of all time, and you're secretly a Thunder fan.
Yep, secretly deep down. When guys are injured, you need offense. That's where Tim comes in. It's just like, all right, Tim, please, we need 7 threes tonight. Like, can you please get us there? But when everyone's healthy and, you have Kyrie and Luka and PJ Washington now who can do things offensively, Tim's role and the necessity for Tim to chunk threes, it doesn't really feel there anymore. But maybe the Mavericks are just hot, and we'll look back on this and be like, okay, we still needed Tim to rain threes. But, yeah, I'm that's something I'm monitoring for the rest of the season for sure.
Well, you're getting positive play from Josh too. I mean, he only played 18 minutes, but he had 2 threes, had a couple of assists too. Like when he's moving the ball and like the Mavericks offense is kind of rolling through all that. Yeah, the need for Tim. But at the beginning of the show, you said if the Mavs need PJ Washington to score 25 points in a game, they're screwed. But if they can ask Tim to do that, and he has to step up into that role. And so it is one of those weird. Wasn't there was a Maverick. Was a center a couple years ago where you're like, all right, we don't play you unless one of our centers is out, and then we absolutely start you and need you to play. I can't remember. Boban or Salah or
Boban
somebody.
got 30 minutes in a game 7. I will never stop bringing that up. That was one of the most shocking things.
Boban has had 2 16-point, 17-rebound games. I looked that up when Gafford had that. I was like,
Boban,
oh
the
my
30-minute
gosh.
game before the world changed forever.
That was nuts.
That was like the end of the PC pre-COVID era. Like that was like the last moment. It was like, yeah, and then Boban scored 30 points.
Mark Cuban looking at the phone and being shocked.
I was at that game. That was my last
Oh my
Mavericks game,
gosh.
actually, to be in attendance at,
Insane.
believe it or not.
No, I've seen you at a game since then.
That was Fan Jam.
That's right. The last real Maverick. Fan Jams are real games.
Fan Jam's awesome. If they didn't do it this year because they were traveling, but if they do that, I highly encourage everyone to go. It's actually really cool.
It is fun. Isaac hated it, but I like it.
I like it because you could get there, you could be up close and see these guys. Like you get up close, you're like, oh my god, Luka is actually massive in a way you don't really understand until you see him close. Because you know he's big and everyone says he's big, and then you look at him and you're like, this guy is packing size, muscle, and body.
Are you doing this on purpose?
All right, guys. Nick will be back tomorrow. I'll be back next week.
If they allow you to come back,
yeah, I had a rough episode.
Apologize to FanDuel again.
Sorry, FanDuel. Sorry, Robinhood.
Oh, there you go. No podcast tomorrow because I'll be traveling for All-Star, but I'll have all kinds of stuff this weekend. We'll have stuff covered for the Rising Stars. I'll probably do a Saturday night thing just for the heck of it. I'll do more Mavs pods and stuff over the weekend. So check back in. Guys, thanks for listening to Locked on Mavs. Peace out. Boom!